Good afternoon. Thank you for joining the Title III webinar for the 16-17 school year. Um, I just want to start by saying that I don't know how many of you have met Crystal Field, Miss Fields from the State Department, who was the state Title III and English language coordinator, a huge advocate for children of English language learners, a good friend who dedicated her time, and she I think I'm very hyperactive and OCD, but I've never seen another person. She is always working, shooting emails, and doing 100 different things. A great advocate for English language learners and for the public charter school district. She spent time to know us learners and try to provide as much assistance as she can, understanding the unique situation we are in sometimes. She was with us. We were on the road for 2 days, auditing during the audit in the summer. Visited Green Charter School and Royal Live Oaks Academy. And the third day, she spent the day at the district office doing the material and evidence that was collected from all schools. We got a clean audit, and the day after she sent the audit letter to us, she passed away to conducting one more audit at somewhere in Charleston. She survived cancer, but she had a stroke and she passed away. I just want to let everyone know that though our jobs are very busy and everything, we sometimes have to check on each other. Um, uh, and sometimes thank people for and I'm glad I thanked her multiple times. And I only have really good memories of her, which is really good. And I really want to follow her footsteps and make sure that we continue doing the good work that we have been doing and make it better. So that's my goal for one of my goals for this year is I know two of the schools have been directly audited, but I was asked to choose the best schools. I was asked to choose which school to go. And one of the reasons I picked those two schools because they had been in the district for a long time, and also they had a consistent Title III coordinator throughout all this time in the 3 years. And so they accumulated the institutional knowledge. They know a lot of ins and out and gone through the training for multiple years. So the School lost their coordinator this year, but she was the current coordinator was also a part of the team in the past couple of years, so she was able to pick it up really quick. So just so you know, it's so important for the job what we do at school. So just want to let you all know. Thank you for joining the session. And if you are assigned as a Title III coordinator for your school, I just want to let you know this is going to be a joyride. We'll have lots of fun, lots of training, and we will do some amazing things this year. I have never taught in a ESOL classroom, but in the past couple of years, it has been amazing knowing how Title II and English language process program works. Learned so much. The first year I walked into the district, I walked into a Title III audit, and we got a clean audit. We just had one technical assistance, but other than that, we did good. So it was the quickest learning no one could ever have. I learned everything in 3 months, and that was the best way for me to learn and improve the program. I think schools came a long way. Some amazing things are happening in the virtual world, in the brick and mortar world. Every school is doing something new, and I'm really happy each time I go and visit a school, I see that they do something different. They call, they check, and ask questions. So I'm happy we are heading in the right direction, but I think we all need to do the same way, not just one school, two school, or three schools. We all should be on the same page, and there should be never a question in my mind that which school I'll take the auditor. I want us to walk into any of our schools and we stay compliant. Compliant and not only compliant, but also make sure that our kids are providing the services that they deserve and they're required to receive. Saying that, I hate to start in this note, but I just want to let you know that I do appreciate. I don't want to miss a moment thanking you all for the work you do because it's much harder. You're on site, yeah. So I just want to thank you all again. Um, In the past, we used to give a lot of names: ESOL, English for speakers of other language, English language learners. But the every student, the SS calls it the English learners. Now we should not be calling English language learners. Then the new language is English learners. And I'll go in detail how it all rolls out in what is Title III and what is English language program. You see many acronyms here. And like I said, all this PowerPoint, all the information presented today will be posted on Bookshelf. English learners, EL English learners, and I know with the habits we maybe keep referring back to English language learners, but the new terminology is English learners. So here are some acronyms if you might have heard of looking at other PowerPoints in the past or any paperwork on the bookshelf. These are all the acronyms that you will see. Why is this program so important? What is this program? I will go in detail what this program is and everything. But one thing I learned, and this is just my opinion, um, I'm a special education teacher myself, and I have learned special education so well because I'm fortunate to work with some amazing special ed people in the office here, and as a teacher, I had some amazing coordinators and directors that worked with me. One thing I noticed, and this is my personal experience, I may be totally wrong. Children with special needs, schools are so scared of the parents, schools are so scared of the process. They take high priority. Once it's special need child with special needs, they put high priority. They are on cruise mode trying to solve the issue, making the parent happy, getting things done. But when it comes to English language learners, for some reason, I see, no, I'm not referring to our schools. This is a general, I work with a lot of Title III coordinators across the state, and this is a common theme I see is they're not that serious. And I see two reasons, and one thing is funding. Schools do not receive an additional funding for serving English language learners. Even if you have 300 kids, you will not get an additional state or federal dollars for it. You can code it in PowerSchool and you can get the EIA money, but not additional funding like you receive like Title One. And the second reason, and it's sad, but I think this is like my only opinion, is because parents don't know whom to ask or have the ability to ask right questions because of language deficiency. And I really think that's one reason a lot of schools get away not providing services or not coding them properly or not providing the assessment screenings, and we get away so much. And I have heard so many stories from other school districts, and even sometimes when a child transfers to our school, and we call the other schools from the previous school districts, it may be in-state or out-state. Hey, we don't have any records for these kids. We didn't do the testing. The person left. There's no documentation. There's no paperwork. The child was not tested. We did not know. And it just hurts me that that one child who would have been screened and could receive the services, but the school failed to do it, and they are here with us with the same level they walked into the public school system. And I think it's my not a personal goal, but my professional goal, and my personal goal is to make sure I stress this. I say the importance on why it's important. It's not about funding, and I'll talk in detail why it's nothing to do with funding as we move forward in the presentation. But I really want to know if you are assigned as the Title III coordinator, if you are assigned as the English learner coordinator, even if you have one child, even if you have no children in your school, have some seriousness and compassion towards this program because you never know. We have schools that told me, hey, we don't have any kids, we don't have to worry about it. And the next day, the kid walks into your school. So you can, and I make an analogy of you cannot have a secure. I don't need a security system. No one has ever broke into my house. I say that like you don't need a security system after someone broke into your house and stole something. You have it in place so that no one breaks into your house, and if they do, you have a system in place. So that's just two cents from my side. Just so you know that don't just take it because someone asks you to do it. If this is the role given to you, ask for clarity, ask for the time that you will be spending on it based on the caseload that you have. So ask clear questions because your lack of time should not impact the learning of children or the services that needs to be provided. So that is one thing I will start working with the schools to emphasize on the requirement of staff and how they need to plan it that way, because we have classroom teachers who are assigned as Title III coordinators and they work until 7 and 8 sending me emails. My heart goes out to them. But like I said, I know it's a school decision. These schools have complete autonomy what to do, but I cannot control that. But I can control and see, making sure that kids are providing the services that they should. It's the law. I'm not going to spend time reading everything. It will be on the bookshelf. It's not something I sat down or someone sat down and made things up with this time. It comes Regs come from the state, from the feds. It's part of Title One. It's part of the new ESSA. Is clearly focuses more on. It's part of Title One now. In the past, we had a whole different Title One program, and Title Three the accountability for Title Three was treated totally different. But with the new ESSA, it's part of Title One. The Office of Civil Rights oversees this program. Any guidance we get from about Title III and English learners comes straight from the Office of Civil Rights and the Department of Justice. Anytime your school is in trouble for English language learners, the Office of Civil Rights and Department of Justice is the one that will directly deal and work with your school. And I have seen my counterparts across the state who are dealing with this, and I'm telling you, it is no joke. And I know it always gets one parent started, but I just want to, we should never think about how to resolve and how to go to DH. We have to do our due diligence in making sure we have everything on all process in place. There are several court rulings that you can walk through, and I'll come back to this. I will be explaining all of this while we go into the but I want you all to have this information. So when you go back and try to revisit the presentation, or try to refer this information, I want you all to know that this is not something we are making things up. These are something the schools have gone to Supreme Court, and these are small. And once I go to the specific topics that they are mentioning here, I will explain in detail what it is. If you see the difference, and people ask, what is Title III and what is English language learners? It's hard for me to actually tell you how it actually all works, because they are, for me, I treat them as the same. Title III is just the funding piece of it, the funding, how much funding does the school receive, school district receives, and EL is a program where you screen the kids and provide services, all that good stuff. Title III is basically dealing with funding. We are so easy with Title III because we get around $25,000. We keep all that money at the district level, and we do. When we say district level, I'm not going to somewhere else just to have professional development and travel. It is 100% of the money is used for professional development, and if I am going somewhere, I will send all the information to the schools, and any interested school can send their coordinator. And if in some cases, if the school leader is the coordinator, and we have done it in the past, and we have attended as a group, as a district. We are one of the biggest districts that attended some of these conferences. So basic difference is that Title III deals with the funding we receive, and English language program deals with the services, screening, everything, the paperwork involved for English language learners. We are not done with the presentation. I just want to walk you. This is something we have developed. I know I have to revamp it, but just so you know, that we do not have a state Title III coordinator assigned yet at the state level. I don't want to reinvent wheel again. I'm just waiting on the August 4th. We have a training. I hope there is a Title III component involved in it. It's a federal programs meeting, Title One, and I'm hoping to hear more about the Title III EL program during that on Thursday. So once I get more information, I'll clean up all this and post it on Bookshelf for you all to access. But I think that you will get a gist of what I'm talking about. Home language survey. I will go on the Bookshelf. You will see in the past, and this will be a conversational, a lot of sharing information rather than reading from the PowerPoint. Mostly that's not my phone. For the home language survey, until last year, and it clicked to me last year when I went to a conference. Until last year, we were asking schools to collect home language survey. Anytime the kid A school has to collect home language survey for all children, and not just you guess that he may be English language learner because parents speak differently, or you cannot. Every child in the school has to complete a home language survey. What happened was the school collected a home language survey, and and there are three questions on the home language survey, and if the parent answered English on three, you code them as non-English speaker and code them in PowerSchool as a 9, and he's an English speaker 9. But what happened? The issue we ran into was once when your office clerk or the front office people requested records from the previous school district, there was a different home language survey where the child was an English language learner, and the school had two home language surveys saying totally two different things, and they did not do the screening. There's a time frame there where you have to do the screening, and the school missed those due dates because they assumed because the parents said English, they coded them as English speaker. It causes so many issues. So I was sitting in a conference and I just thought, hey, why should we even ask for a home language survey if the child attended a U.S. school last year, or that whatever he's transferring from a U.S. school? So we designed a program. We sent out a memo, and we requested all schools stop collecting home language survey. When I made this statement to the State Department, they almost ready to punch me. You cannot say that, but I am saying that we do not collect home language survey from the parent that comes to enroll at your school. Collect the home language survey as part of your request for records from the previous school that the child has been attending. Don't give a new home language survey. This will solve half of your problems. You do not have to deal with two different home language surveys. What if the child is a kindergarten? What if the child just came to America? Yes, that's when you give a new home language survey. What if the previous school never responded? How many times did you ask? One time? Ask them again. Ask them at least 3 times so you document that you have asked them multiple times, and then give a new home language survey. So this is some process, and all these memos are available on the bookshelf. If you are new to Title III, or new to the district, or new to working at the school, bookshelf is a place where we host all these trainings and everything that we do. Because we have a lot of staff turnover, we a lot of coordinators change. So we can't do this type of training every time we have a new coordinator. So we record all these meetings, all these documents. We put it on a public links where you can access it, watch it anytime you want to, and improve your program. Or anytime you have a question, you watch it and you will still have questions. If I miss anything, you can always call me back. So like I said, the home language survey is so essential. So that's important when you, as part of your request for records. And one thing I'll say is that will change everything. These are the items that needs to be on your request for records. Home language survey, that's top priority. English language initial placement screener. When the student comes in and they are identified as a potential English language learner, the school should screen the child. So you can get the screener from the previous school if you have it on your process. Most recent state language proficiency test scores. Ask it from the previous school. Accommodation plan. Before you start developing the accommodation plan from nothing, get it from a sample from the previous school, which you can just see and adapt it. You can't just do it because each school is different. You can adapt it as long as you don't make it on your administrative convenience, but what's good for the child. So, and like I said, do not purge should be on the home language survey. Sample home language surveys and sample all kind of documents are available on the bookshelf. So this is a process. I think. Okay, let me see if it works. There you go. I think we are the only district that has some process like this. If you are unable to see it, I apologize. But I just want you to know this is something we will change it after the meeting we have. All these documents are on the bookshelf. So this is a quick timeline. I know it takes a lot, and when I plan to do face-to-face meetings too, and I will let you know when that happens. Once we have all the title coordinators placed, and once I know who is who, we will definitely do regional meetings and go in depth with it. Okay, I can't see it. So here are the scenarios that most schools go through. You receive records from the previous school, and student was not an ELL in the previous school. You get your front office or your power school person or the request for records, and you get it from the previous school, and the student was not a student ELL student, and they uncheck everything. They say he's not. What do? You code them as a 9 as an English speaker 2 in Power School. That's it. That for most of your schools that have less EL population, this is what you will receive. And once you receive that, you just code them as a 9. Done. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to deal with it. Then you receive records from previous school. The student was an ELL student in the previous school and did not meet the exit criteria. And there's an exit criteria. I will go in detail as we move forward. In the state assessment, the only way, and I'm going to repeat it, the only way a child, an English learner, can be exited from the English learner program is through the state assessment exit criteria. You cannot exit him because mom told so. You cannot tell because the headmaster of the school said so. You cannot do it because the child said so. The only way you can exit the child from the English learner program is through the exit criteria based on the state assessment. So in this case, you receive the records from the previous school, and the student was an ELL in the previous school and did not meet the exit criteria. And you will look at the exit criteria, what score they made, and you will code it in Power School. And I will have a Power School document that I will show you sometime today in the presentation. And you will look at those test scores from the exit criteria, what scores he made, and you will code it in Power School. After you code it in Power School, by law, you have to send the parent notification to the parent, letting them know that why you coded that way and what kind of service and accommodation plan does the child have. Does the child need any accommodations? So you make the determination once the child was tested and not exited. Then you have one more scenario. Receive records from the previous school. The student was an ELL student in the previous school and exited the ELL program based on the state assessment. So in this case, the student has exited. When they say exited, the Power School document I'll show you in a minute. Even though they have passed the exit, they have met the exit criteria, but the law says you have to monitor the child for 2 more years. Not 1, but 2 more years. So there's a year 1, year 2, and you code all this in Power School. So you monitor based on if he is exited already, and it's all after the exit he stayed in the school for 1 year and came to you in the second year. You coded him as the monitoring year 2. If he exited the last year and came straight to you, you code him as monitoring year 1. And after he has done with those 2 years and is being successful in the regular education classroom, you then send an exit letter that your child has exited the program and the child stays on a 8. You will code him as an 8. And like I said, when you hear all these numbers, I don't want you to panic. I don't know what level of capacity you hold at your school, but this is something you work with your Power School person. As a coordinator, you have to have a great relationship with your front office people, the amazing people, by the way, and the Power School coordinators who run your school. I think if the data doesn't exist in Power School, it doesn't exist. So please work with your Power School person to make sure that whatever data you say is in Power School. And also send the parent notification for monitoring year and 1, 2, letting them know that if there are any accommodations in it, what accommodations are they receiving. If all the responses on the home language survey is English, code the student as 9. If you have a new student that's coming, kindergarten or a student that came to the country last week and he just enrolled in your school, give them a home language survey, and it should not be all English. But even if you didn't require, you requested records from the previous school and you never got those records from the other school. So you give a brand new home language survey from the bookshelf to the student, and that's when if they say it's all English, you just code them as 9. If other language is provided to any of the questions, and in those 3 questions, and I'll show you a sample home language survey, if any of those questions is other than English, the team decides student as potential English learner. You will not talk to the kid, you will not talk to the parent, yeah, you will not tell them, hey, is this what, you just try to decide that, and that's what the law says. That's why it's very important when you give documents, let the parents know what it is before they complete. So you can tell them this is a home language survey, this is the question that means, so they know what they're completing if it is their first time. But you will not tell them what to do or how to do it. If as a district, if we observe a pattern of a school is trying to do this, we will definitely conduct a desk audit, and we have done it in the past to make sure that that's not happening. You decide, the team decides the student is a potential English learner, and here we say last screener. I'll go in detail what screener we're using, but you will screen the child and to see where he falls, what's his language proficiency, and then based on the results, you will code the student in PowerSchool and send the parent notification. So this is the basic process, and I think it's simple, and I'll change all the language to meet the current screeners and tests and the new EL language process. But I just want, this should give you for a new Title 3 coordinator on what action needs to take place at that situation. I think these are the, if I can be totally wrong, but these are the situations that I see all the time. So kindly go. This flowchart should help you. This process should help you while making decisions. Okay. So when I first came to the district as a Title 3 Federal Progress Coordinator, I spent so much time building